Hey guys, it is Luton here. Welcome back. Talking about Battlefield 4 again. Surprisingly, God, so many different titles I could have gone with today. Score, motivation, score, whore. I don't know, but I'm thinking about the upcoming CTE changes. You know, I've been out of the loop, but I've been reading back through and looking at some of these. Obviously, the good things coming in, like triage and stuff like this. So that's great. They're making some good change there. But they're talking about this team play and objective change that's coming up pretty soon, and they're going to be working on that. It's not going to be coming in, as I say, soon. Actually, they're working on it soon in terms of kind of getting feedback and thinking of ideas. And, you know, obviously this is something that I think about all the time. You know, I want to see more objective play. Now, I don't want to be a downer, but I still have not seen or heard any ideas that I think would actually make a big change in terms of people's objectivity with the game. And that is, for the love of God, not through the one of trying. All the time I think about it. There are some things that have the potential to make a small change, and the most obvious one of all is the classic, just give people more score. Just give people more score for the objectives. That's what they say, whether it's reviving, dropping ammo, capping objectives, whatever. Give people a little score. That's going to give them more incentive. It's going to give people more incentive to win. I just don't see it. I just don't see that that's going to happen, because when you look at how people are playing in a game, that they're just not interested in it. That's why people don't drop ammo. And people always say, oh yeah, well that's why people go for the revives, because they want to get that score. I don't think that is actually the case. I think the reason people go for the revives all the time is because they see a shiny thing right in front of them and they're like, oh, gotta do it, ping, ping. You know, I think that is actually, sadly, the way it is. It's not so much about that. But I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments below. Are you a person, when you play, and there's nothing to be ashamed of with this, you know, we all play for different reasons. Are you someone who focuses on the score? You play for the score? The other classic, of course, is let's make KD less prominent. Okay, let's make KD less prominent because the golden icon of Battlefield, Bad Company, of course, you know, they had a different way of laying out those things at the end of the round. But actually, if you look back at it, the KD was there. It just wasn't as prominent. But the thing is, as well, is that, you know, having or being entirely focused on your KD is a bad thing, because you get too tunnel visioned on that and you forget about everything else that's going on in the game. But being aware of your KD, that is not a bad thing, okay? And in this round as well, you know, I was playing pretty hard and we were working for the enemy. You can see in this round, I'm not camping and I'm not being too terrified of getting to grips with the enemy here. But at the same time, I was thinking, man, I'm doing all right in this round. So I was getting very aware of the fact that, you know, I wanted to hold on to that KD, because why wouldn't you? You know, you want to have a good KD by the end of the round. Everybody wants to have a good KD by the end of the round. But what bothers me a lot of the time in Battlefield is just people's lack of will to get in and get onto the objectives. My classic is the door break, okay, and people have seen me do this so many times. The door break situation where you're stuck in a bottleneck. Think of locker, for example, okay, and you're locked down, and everybody's sitting around that door and they won't move forward. They just refuse. They don't have the will to try because they're too scared of dying, okay. I will often push hard for that door. Grenade, 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 get out. Okay? And sometimes it just doesn't work. But a lot of the time, 50-50 probably, a lot of the time, you know, you have a good chance. When I say a lot of the time, I'm talking about a lot of the times that I try to break through the door, I succeed. 50-50 is whether or not you make it on each time, okay? So 50-50 every time I break through, got a chance of survival. The trouble is then I turn around and there's nobody there, because nobody tried to come with you. So there has to be some kind of incentive change to make people push forward and get onto that objective. Now, I don't know necessarily more, you know, in my mind, what I think would bother people more is being punished rather than necessarily rewarded. So, you know, if you still do alright with the current score system that we have at the end of a round, I think people are going to be like, you know, basically all it is a bonus. So if you don't get that bonus, it's not the end of the world, you know. If you get like a little bit more score, who cares? I mean, to me that means nothing anyway, because I don't play for that. I always play for the win. I always play for like the good round. So to me, like, you know, just how we perform by the end of the round overall as a group is more important to me than necessarily picking up like 10% extra score by rezzing someone. Like, who cares, you know? But punishing people at the end. Now, you know, I don't think you necessarily want to be punished in terms of, you know, this is another thing as well. It's like, how can you? At this stage in the game, it doesn't even make sense, you know. You sort of think, well, okay, you could punish people by dropping the XP a little bit, dropping this, dropping that, but what does it matter, really? You know, at this stage in the game, that's not going to be a constructive, real change. It doesn't really matter. So there has to be something else, something that's more relevant, something that can permeate through whether you've just started playing the game or whether you've been playing the game since the very beginning and you've got max, you know, everything. So again, I don't know. You know, I have thought about this time and time again, and I think about it all the time. Like, how the hell can we make some kind of change which is actually going to have a strong, you know, impact on what it is that people are actually doing in the game? I just don't know. I really, really don't. And it bothers me a lot. It bothers me a lot because I don't see it as just being a Battlefield thing. I see it as being in everything. And I'm going to be very interested. I'm going to be watching very carefully about the objective changes that they're talking about with this CTE and all the rest of it. What they're going to do with the team play. I mean, I'm confused. The only sort of thing that I could think of would be to perhaps highlight priority targets more, or to maybe make focus, you know, sort of, if you're starting to drop tickets, maybe you get some kind of notification. But then, of course, people aren't going to like having notifications about things because people already hate the UI clutter. People go on about it all the time. It doesn't bother me too much, but people do dislike that. So what are your thoughts, guys? Drop in the comments below. I got to tell you, you know, I think about it a lot, and I cannot think of that many things, really, because I just don't believe that many people are motivated just by numbers. I think it's more just a kind of general mood. It's just how people play. Let me know your thoughts below, guys. I'll see you next time. More Battlefield 4.